Hi friends, welcome to another episode of Cosplay Vicar. Today's episode, I want to cover 3 myths that I have heard just over the last 6 months while out at events, while trooping with people. Now, one of the joys of being part of a costuming club is that you end up costuming with people from other clubs. And then every now and again, you kind of hear these myths about the 501st Legion. That I just thought, do you know what? It'd be really good to cover those 3 myths. So that's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to cover the 3 myths that I've heard over the last 6 months about the 501st Legion. Now, what is the 501st Legion? The 501st Legion is a costuming group that is a global costuming group and essentially has garrisons all over the world. And we're all part of the same 501st, Vader's Fist. And we get out there raising money for charity. But across the world, you've got the garrisons, different garrisons all over the world. So you've got the Spanish garrison, the Norwegian garrison, and you've got the UK garrison, which is one I'm a part of. So myth number 1. The first myth that I've come across, and I'd love to talk about today, is they are costuming snobs. So you hear this phrase quite often, the UK Garrison or the 501st Legion, they're costuming snobs. And I think one of the things to just recognise is that there are different levels of costuming. And what we would say at the UK Garrison or in the 501st Legion is that for us, screen accuracy is what we are going for. And it's not about elitism and it's not about snobbery. It's just saying, like, this is the goal and this is the aim for what we're trying to do. We want to be able to build costumes that look like they've walked straight off the movie screen. Now, some costuming clubs are absolutely amazing, but the goal for them isn't screen accuracy. It's probably more about getting out there, dressing as a character, having fun, raising some money for charity, but actually looking 90% or almost there. And the thing is about screen accuracy is it's really hard. Like, if you want to wear the right shoes, wear the right boots that you see that character wearing on screen, you have to do a heck of a lot of research, and it often gets really expensive. So sometimes you go, I can't afford that, so I'm going to have to go for a pair of boots that look like but are not the ones. The thing about the garrison is we want to go for the ones that look exactly like the ones on screen. So we end up having to save up our own money to do that. Does that mean the 501st are snobs? No, it's just the goal is different. And I think we need to recognise that the goal in different clubs is what really makes us unique. Every club, every costuming club is different. And the goals are different. What we're trying to achieve is different. We are all a part of the same community. We're all people wearing plastic. We're all wearing costumes. It's just the goal is different. So is the 501st a costuming? Are they costuming snobs? No, it's just the goal is different. And therefore, don't be offended when actually your goal is one thing and their goal is another thing. And the costume that you're wearing doesn't, match what's called the CRL, the costuming library, doesn't match the library because actually your goal might be different. And enjoy your goal. Myth number 2, they're just cosplayers. That's a good phrase. They are just cosplayers. Well, number 1, I would say that the 501st or the UK Garrison is not just cosplaying. We would describe ourselves as costumers. The goal is building the costume as you would see it on screen. And I think there's some subtlety in that. So we would describe ourselves as costumers, not cosplayers. But are we just costumers? Or are we just cosplayers? No, it's more than that. The great thing about the 501st Legion, and the reason why I joined the UK Garrison, is because we raise money for charity. I love the fact that we get to get out there and raise money for charity. And that is a massive part of the work that I do. And I love getting to go into hospitals here in London, dressed as Darth Vader with my R2-D2, and actually seeing children having smiles on their faces. So it's far more than just going to a Comic-Con. So some people think costuming is about going to a Comic-Con and wearing your favourite film character or TV character's costume, which can be a part of that community, but it's not what the Garrison does. We want to get to charity events that help raise money for great causes. We love to raise the quality of an event by having maybe Darth Vader there or some significant character. And we also love being able to get into hospitals and actually do ward visits and that kind of thing. And we get to do that because that we are a charity, we have safeguarding, we have to do DBSs, we have to do all of that stuff to be able to get into hospital. So it's really significant. It's more than just a costuming group. The third thing I would say is this, the myth that I've heard is they are only dressing as villains. The 501st only dress as villains. Well, on one level, the 501st is the villains side of it. But actually, it's a much bigger community than that. We have Rebel Legion, Rebel Command, that's a part of our costuming clubs. We have the Mando Mercs and other clubs like this. I'm a part of the Droid Builders community, and there's overlap across all of these communities. And what's beautiful is, if you're part of one club, then you're friends with the other club. And I have characters now where I dress as Jedi, I dress as Vader, and depending on the event and depending on what's appropriate will depend on which ones that I wear. So is the 501st like single only interested in villains? No, we have got characters much wider than that. And the beautiful thing about the UK Garrison, we also have something called real icons. And real icons are characters from other films that are not related to Star Wars at all. So we have Deadpool, Spider-Man, we have Batman, we have Captain America. I do a Ghostbuster. I also do Clint Eastwood from Good, the Bad and the Ugly, Blondie. So there are lots of other characters that we do that are a part of that group that's a part of the UK Garrison called Real Icons. So we do much more than just villains. So they're the three myths that I've heard. Now, I'd love to, do you agree with what I've said? Do you disagree? Are there myths that you've heard that you'd love me to cover as well? So there's my three myths that I've heard in the last 6 months about the 501st and my thoughts and views on them. Friends, have a great time cosplaying and costuming, and I'll catch up with you soon.